So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at these. This is the Lamy booklet. For the first time in Lamy's history, they have released paper products, and I purchased this, the booklet. It's a soft cover series of notebooks. It's 3 in a pack. There's some hardcovers too, but I didn't really like their designs as much, so this is what I bought. I'll try to check out the hardcover in the future. Anyway, it's a pack of 3, sells for like $15, $16. I bought it from a Lamy store directly, and like I said, soft cover. They come in A6 and A5 sizes. This is the A5. So just some basics here. It's called Lamy paper, not super creative. 145 by 210 millimeter. I believe that's A5. 90 grams per square meter. So it's a heavier paper, not super heavy, but definitely on the heavier side. Chamois is the paper finish. And then ivory color, thread stitching, which we'll cover. Ink proof paper, that just was it's heavier. Acid free, that means it's like archival quality paper. 64 pages, and then Lamy ruling. Lamy ruling, really quickly, is what you see here. It's not a grid and it's not a line. It is both a line and a grid, and that's Lamy ruling. So all of Lamy's notebooks or all of Lamy's paper products are using this. You can't buy it in like a dot grid or a line or a blank. It combines a dot grid and the line, which is kind of cool, except the lines are rather far apart. It's like a very wide rule. So maybe this isn't ideal for everyone, but it's definitely an interesting take. Okay, back to the basics. Again, 3 of them for about $15. The cover is, it's like sort of metallic looking, sort of shiny gray cardstock. Definitely flexible. If you look at it closely, it has a little bit of like a sheen to it, but as you zoom in, it has a sort of woven pattern. So it's pretty nice. It's not really my favorite, but it's nice enough. The design, it tends to bulge here because of the way it is bound, which is thread bound, which is not ideal, but it's fine. On the flip side, you could have more or less a lay flat design. It won't stay shut until you start to, bend it back a little bit and get a little bit worn in, but then it will be pretty much lay flat. The outside is very basic, no logo or anything like that on the front. On the back, it says Lamy, it's just embossed here. Nothing else, no information, no serial number, nothing like that. The one little embellishment is here. You can see the stitching is in a neon green, sort of like a lime color. And it's hard to make it out in this lighting, but it does pop a little bit, just like a little bit of a quirk, which is, I guess, cool enough, not really a big deal. Opening up, we can see there's really no features to this, just a cardstock cover. There's nothing here for your name or your phone number, no pockets, no stickers are included, nothing. It's just the bound notebook. Here in the middle, you can see the threading, but it's only one sheaf or whatever. So it's just those pages, one binding, and that's it. It's not multiple collections of papers. So you just have that one middle, and that's it. Now you're back to not seeing the thread. Getting to the back, we can see, again, no pocket, nothing like that, and it just ends. You do, with this sort of binding, get a little bit of bulge here. That's inevitable. I did some quick samples. This is just some fountain pen with the basics, Lamy paper test. Oh, it's my test of the Lamy paper, 90 pounds. It's paper smooth. Like I said, a chamois is a pretty good description. It's not as smooth as a Rhodia or a Nemocene or something like that, but it's on the smooth side. And then I just did some tests with some different things, like a Parker Fifth, which is like a fine liner, pointing out that this is the Lamy rule. And then I did a quick hit with a Sharpie just to see how resistant it would be. So the real test here is the resistance of this, which is a medium point, or I guess it's technically a broad point, Japanese, like a medium point fountain pen, and then the marker. Marker definitely be on the extreme side. You can see the marker comes through and you see a little bit of raised lettering here from where I wrote, but almost none of the fountain pen comes through, which for me is pretty much what you want to see. I don't really care if the marker comes through. If you're using a marker, it's, you know, it's gonna happen, but fountain pens do not come through. And we'll do some writing. I have a couple pens ready so we could do a real test. This is a platinum medium. Pen is called the Procyon or something like that. Platinum medium. Again, clearly a fountain pen. This is a Sailor Broad. And all of these are using the stock ink, which I think it gives you a better representation of how the paper is going to react. If you start using all these crazy inks, you don't know what's going to happen. This is a Lamy Safari, but it has a Pilot G2 1.0 millimeter. So this is a broad. This is a broad roller ball. And then we have a Easy Flow medium. So this is like a, you know, like a hybridish type pen. And it's definitely nice, smooth writing. It's not the quickest drying paper. You know, it's reasonably quick, but it's not hyper absorbent, and it's not like a Rhodey or something completely ink repellent. So we'll do a quick test. So this is Sailor again. So 1, 2, 3, some smearing. 3 seconds is pretty quick. Let's try that again. 1, 2. A little bit better. That's 10 seconds. So again, not super quick drying, but this ink isn't the quickest drying either. Flipping it over. So what comes through from the ink standpoint, basically nothing, which is what you want to see from a nice 90-gram paper. You see, again, some of the lettering comes through, but that's just a reality of writing on something. The important part is none of that ink is coming through. The worst would have been the broad roller ball right here. So we'll flip it and nothing. So that's really good. What's funny is that the sharper tips tend to come through, is that's where you're pressing more. So it's not the ink that comes through, it's the pressing action. So something that puts down a lot of ink, like this broad roller ball, it has a broad tip, so it's pressing into the paper less than this below it, which is the Easy Flow, the medium, where you have to push a little bit harder to get the ink down. Just interesting. So yeah, that is the Lamy booklet. It's a nice but unremarkable soft cover. For $5 each, I think it's fine. You know, it's nice to support Lamy. It's nice to like have them available when you're buying your pens, but you're really not doing much over something like this. This is a campus notebook from Kikuyo, something like that. Yeah, Kikuyo. These things sell for like $2, $3 each, and my kid got to it, clearly. Nice, reasonably smooth paper. It's more absorbent, so your fountain pens will soak in more. You're not going to have as smooth as an experience. So 1, 2, 3. See that? That's because it's a very smooth paper, but it's uncoated, so it's more absorbent. So that's a trade-off there. It's less smooth rather, but it's more absorbent. So that's what you're going to get with a paper like this. The trade-off is your ink doesn't look as good, but it dries more quickly. I think this is probably more practical, but less fun, less exotic. Clearly, it's more utilitarian. It's not as cool looking and designy as these Lamys, but I tend to prefer the Campus, when you could save some money over these. Again, less slick, and I don't think the paper is archival on some of these, so you're gonna have some trade-offs. If what you're looking for is notebooks for the long term and you want them to sit on your shelf, then maybe spend the extra money and get the Lamy stuff. But for day-to-day use and note-taking, I don't think it's gonna generally make sense. So yeah, that is the Lamy Bookmarklet 3-book set. Let me know if you bought these. Let me know if you even care about paper from Lamy. If you do, I'll pick up the hardcovers. Thanks for watching.